Welcome back to What the Mutfak, the show that will keb up your life. And right now we are in the temple of the kebab, the Mangal. No Mangal, no kebab. So, what is a Mangal and why do you need one? First of all, the word Mangal has an unconfirmed origin of either of two sources. The first one, the Arabic word man'al or manqal, meaning mobile, as in mobile fire grill that you can take around. And the other one will be the Altaic Mongolic word Mangal, which literally means fire pit. There's a disagreement on which one of these origins are the true origin of the word Mangal, but anyways, this is a Mangal. There you are. Now, no Mangal, no kebab. Let's be clear about this. You need a Mangal. There are amateur versions that are made with metal, but if you want to go pro, you will need one made with refractory materials. Here, this one is made with fire bricks, namely high temperature fire bricks made from chamot that are compressed. You can make yourself from clay, from mud, from stone. Very good mangals are made out of stone, but the regular ones are made with fire bricks. These fire bricks are 20 centimeters to 10 centimeters each. So using this, you can measure the depth, the width, and the length of your mangal. Mine is of 30 centimeters, but in restaurants, classically speaking, 50 centimeters is used. In home versions, you should make yourself one of 30 centimeters, unless you need a lot of depth. Now, why do you need a mangal? First of all, you might have seen the total absence of grill here. Now, let me show you an example where no grill matters. An example of kıyma kebabı, mincemeat kebab, made with hand mince. It takes hours to make this. And as you see, the meat is really not clumped together, but they're individual pieces of meat that have been minced by knife. If this touches a hot grill, it will disintegrate. The only way to cook this is from a heat source that is directed above. And this is where the mangal comes into play. We also have Turkish dishes that are grilled on a grill. We call them ızgara. They're a different category. We will go to them later on. But this is where your mangal excels at. Your shish kebabs that have very tender marinades on them will break as soon as they touch a heat source, or they will burn. But on a mangal, they will not burn. Let me show you with another example. Imagine these are pieces of meat. If they touch a grill, they will get scars on them. But on a mangal, the heat source from the coals is going to be directed directly at them, and it's going to be cooking them thoroughly and perfectly. Now, very important. Now, these don't come constructed. I mean, maybe you can find, but you will most probably have to build your own. A few things to take into account are the distances of the fire bricks. Now, these fire bricks are 20 to 10 to 5 centimeters. This is the standard fire brick in the Republic of Turkey. Some of our neighbors might have different standards, but this is the standard one in Turkey. The depth of each fire brick is 5 centimeters. The length is 20 centimeters. And the width is exactly 10 centimeters. So you see here, I have half a brick here, 10 centimeters, and then I have another 20, which makes me width of the open fire of the mangal of 30 centimeters. The depth, 5 here, and 2.5 here, 7.5. Now what you want here is a good depth of 7.5 centimeters between where the fire will sit and where your skewers are going to be. You will need to first light it up a few times, get enough ash, or maybe put sand in the bottom until you reach the 7 centimeters of difference between the surface and the place where the fire is going to be. What did I just say? Very important point. You need skewers. This cannot work with a grill. You will need skewers. Loads of them. Different sizes, different diameters, different thicknesses, different widths. More on skewers later. Your skewers are better if they're handmade, but you will need skewers. Why is a mangal made out of fire bricks better than a mangal made of metal? Well, very good question. It's very self-explanatory. Your fire bricks are made of highly refractory material. Highly refractory means that when the fire will burn, the fire will be concentrated above. Like it's going to be, imagine like the headlights of a car or a lighthouse. The heat is going to refract itself up and only up. When you have metal, when you have steel mangals, when you have meat out of very thin sheet metal, this is not good because they're going to absorb some of the heat and dissipate them through their chassis. So this is nothing like that. This is really solid. And even when it's like burning here for hours, you can still touch the outer layers and you will not feel any heat. How to care for a mangal? Well, you don't really need to care for it. Just clean it from time to time, and when the ash level is above those 7.5 centimeters, scoop it away and you're good to go. Now, very important, don't use any chemical stuff like briquettes or whatever, at least if you want to make Turkish kebabs. We only use two things in our country and the neighbors of our country. Either have charcoal made with oak, or in the southern regions of Turkey made with citrus trees, or you have actual wood, normal logs that you can actually use to make. Some of the kebabs are made on wood. Not all, only some. But other than these two, there's nothing else that you can use. Either you have logs of wood or natural charcoal made out of actual trees. And it's very easy to build your own. I built this one. And look, let me show you. When you measure the distance, be sure that your mangal will be able to accommodate your skewers here, for example. There you go. There you go. So you will need to plan your skewers according to your mangal. There we have a full-length one. And generally what we do in a mangal, at least in Turkey, is we leave a cold spot and we leave a hot spot. The cold spot is where we have the reserve charcoal. So the more we cook here, the more we displace from here to here, generally. This would be your hot spot. It can be on your right, it can be on your left, but it's never at the center. So you have to put the most delicate dishes in the center. So here's an example. Imagine you're doing all this. We have non-delicate stuff that cannot fall off the skewer. Onions and tomatoes. Here, let me add some peppers as well. Some chilies from our garden. Now, there we are. So imagine this. This is a set of skewers for a kebab, typically. Maybe not those. Those are different. But every time when you do a kebab, you will need to keep an eye on the distance between the heat and your product. And you will need to thin your product accordingly so that the kebab takes the most heat possible. The center is the medium heat zone. So you have your reserve of coal here, your charcoal, getting lit slowly and slowly. You have your charcoal that is lit the most. And because of the refractory effect of those bricks, the heat is going to be reflected in all sides on the furthest side of the mangal from the reserve, from the coldest zone, which is going to make the hottest zone here. So my kebabs, I'm going to want to make them here. My chilies are going to be in the central zone, which is neither hot, neither cold. Tomatoes are going to be next to the chilies, and something like an onion will be here. Something like a shish kebab, which requires not so much heat, would also come here. Minced meat kebabs are going to come closest to the wall. Anyways, of course, like, you're going to get it the more you do it. No one is born out of the mom's womb knowing this. So that's pretty much it. Let me know if you have any other questions. Now, this is your mangal. You will need this for kebabs. Thanks a lot for watching What the Mutfak, and see you in another Turkish culinary show.